republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again. It is Sunday afternoon, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And take note, I said we. It's not just me today. And it's been forever since I've done a podcast. Oh, Sunday, we're going old school. This is Sunday afternoon.
It feels weird being here, man.
Do you recognize the voice? The Cajun Cowboy is back.
I feel like this is my first time. I'm like, this is strange.
Are you nervous?
No, it's just it's like a deja vu. I'm like, I did this once before.
Yeah, long time ago.
Long time ago.
In fact, there's a few listeners that unless they have gone back and listened to the original, original podcast. I used to say original and it meant like last year.
Right.
Now that's like, if you go back to the very beginning, that's like
5 years.
That's like no, I was doing them before you even. I was doing them for a couple of years before you even came out, wasn't it? I think I've been doing this like 6 or 7 years now.
Wow.
Because Patriot Defense has been around 10. Yeah, it's had to be 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So that's
you an OG podcast.
Well, I started doing it when I was here, and I've been here 7 years.
Okay.
So there you go. So there's, what I started to say was there's a lot of people, listeners, that may not know who you are. And you haven't been here for
It's been a long time.
It's got to be like 5 or 6 months.
It's been a long time. Maybe more than that.
And then the original listeners are like, oh my God, we're getting back on track. Cajun Cowboy's back. We're doing this on Sunday afternoon. And everyone's just probably getting super excited right now, but I don't know. I don't know that I'm back on track.
Probably not.
As soon as you walked in the door, you went, "Oh, it's going to be hot in here, isn't it?"
I forgot. It just got hot. Finally, we had a spring.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We hadn't had one in years. So it was a very pleasant spring, so I'm not going to complain.
We had a spring. We haven't had one for a while, and it just now, like starting yesterday. Yesterday, I was driving through the little town over here, 99 degrees.
Wow.
But I mean, that's like a 15-degree jump from where we've been.
Yeah.
That was like overnight.
Well, it was, we had highs in the 60s. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. And the last few years, it went from freezing to 100 degrees.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, man.
I'm really not complaining. We're here, but we're supposed to drop down into about the 80s, which is still hot, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not 100 hot.
Yeah, the South is getting there this year.
Yeah, something. I don't know, man. I woke up this morning to run, and I actually got up at 3 o'clock. Because I wanted to beat the heat. You go down in the canyon where I'm at, and it's just like an oven down there. So it was like, I want to say it was like 3 weeks ago. I'd wake up early to go run, and it was like, we're like 45 degrees. And I woke up, showed up there today, and it was at 5 o'clock. It was 68. That's a big damn difference.
Yeah, I already don't like it, but like I said, I can't complain. It's July.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't get hot till July, so I'm like, okay.
We used to not get hot. Now, I don't know if you recall. You used to not get really hot here, and I've talked to some old-timers, and they actually verified it's not just in my brain. We used to get kind of in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and then we used to not get real hot until fair toward the end of August, and it was like triple digits for like a week, and then it would just kind of fade off.
Yeah.
Do you remember
I've been
that?
here long enough to remember that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
So yeah, you have... When it hit triple digits, you're like, all right, let's tough through it.
Yeah.
Get it done. You got usually a week to 10 days. And then once it breaks, you back down and you enjoy 90 degrees.
Yeah. It's a nice break.
It. And then it drifts off in the fall. Hey, pumpkin spice season's back. And then the cold. So
and honestly, my voice keeps cracking like I'm going through freaking puberty.
Yeah, mine's messed up.
It's because I got a birthday coming up, so I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
That's something. Yeah, I'm finishing out puberty.
25
folks.
years old.
25. Yeah. I've been married longer than that. No, if you look at it, we are almost like we're really close to fall.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
I hope
this is so weird.
Gets back to normal.
It's so weird, the weather. It's normal and it's nice, but it's like, what's going to happen next?
It has not been right the last few years.
Well, and this year it's the weather show. It always starts off the weather podcast, but we've got so much snow up in the hills still. Even like I have a race in a couple weeks, and they're talking that the big snow drifts are down low still, and so there's a lot of water. There's a lot of snow still up in the high country.
Oh, I didn't even tell you. I have an opportunity to move to Alaska.
What?
I'm actually house shopping. I might.
You get with the company you're with?
Yeah. My district just expanded and took in Alaska. So
Do I need to get rehired?
I can go to Alaska.
I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
But they don't have. We don't want to talk about that. We'll talk about this off the air because are you really that busy in Alaska?
No, that's what's great.
That's what I'm thinking.
You got 9 months with no outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're checking base stations for the Eskimos. Don't leave me.
Okay. I already left you, man. I hadn't been here in a long time. Okay, we got to get away from all this.
Well, yeah, this is like we have
catching up time.
We're just catching up. That's right. But
I need to do a podcast today myself if I can fit one in.
so have you bought any new guns or anything lately?
I have not. I'm looking to get a red dot though.
You are.
I got one, but
so you listen to the podcast, and I listen to Forgotten American. That's your podcast, and I like to think I had a hand in maybe swaying you over to the red dot a little bit. So I got this phone call, said, "Todd, I'm getting older."
Yeah, he was talking about old people, and I'm like, thanks a lot, Todd.
They really do work wonders. I mean, honestly. In fact, the other day, I was sitting in the house doing some computer work, and just out of nowhere, I started seeing these, like in the corner on the edges of my eyes, like these like little flashes, and I'm like, oh, this is bad for business.
Don't know what that is.
I don't know. I don't either. But so as you get older, your eyes change, and red dots can become more of a thing.
Yeah. Well, I have one, but I've never used it, and it's a few years old. Might as well get a new one.
Oh yeah. So are you going to? Do you know which one you're looking for?
Not really. We talked about it. You told me which one.
We did.
I kind of told you what I was looking for, and you said get this one. I'm like,
what gun did you want to put it on?
Canik.
The Canik, baby. The Canik, baby. You need to pick yourself up a brand new Canik. You need to get yourself a rival.
I went and looked at it, but there's so little difference between it and the Elite. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you need a rival. But so we talked about the Holo Suns,
right.
And you want green, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have the models down pat. We talked about it on the phone. I think we looked up what model number that was. Something. And so I believe I have the 507C. So I think maybe it's the 407. We'll look it up. So we talked about the new one though. The new one they have, which they've been out for a little while, but they're bringing it out. It's made for the gun, for each specific brand of gun, and that's going to be the SCS. So are you going to hold out for that? See when they come out for the Canik?
I don't think so because it might. I don't see it projected to come out this year.
I don't think it will either. I think it'll be next year. That's what I think.
So if you had to wait 6 months,
you can't even find any hints of it online.
No.
Like no one's saying, "Well, yeah, I got my hands on one. I'm testing it." Or there's like nothing. There's like nothing leaked. People are just asking, "Where is it? Where is it?"
Well, the last time and who knows, they may update it. They need to say what's coming soon or whatever. But the last update you got on it was at SHOT Show, so that's in January.
Yeah.
And they said this is what's coming out this year, and they actually added a couple more to it that came out this year. So we'll see. I wish they would come out with a Canik.
I haven't heard anything bad about the SCSs yet. So I mean, the people out there, I know there's at least 3 people I know that have them, and they have no problems. So, okay. In fact, I might actually pick one up for my VP9 since I stole the one off the VP9 and put on the P30. Now I have a naked VP9.
The only thing I don't like is it's auto dimming. I'm like, I want maximum brightness at all time.
So you can get in. You may be able to get in there and program that because I know that on the one that, and I don't know for sure because I haven't looked at, but the one that I have, like I can get in there and shut some of the features off.
Oh wow.
So, like it has what they call shake awake, right?
Right.
So you pick it up and it comes on. Like I can get in there and shut that off. There's a way to do that. So I'm not sure if you can do that with the SES. I haven't had my hands on one.
What does it have? A little USB port in it?
No, it's got a little button and it's like click, click, click. It's like a menu. Hold 3 seconds.
Okay.
Hold whatever.
Get
But
to
I'm not sure how the SES works. So
Right.
don't. James, he's going to listen to this.
You
He's
put a Dremel tool to it.
Yeah, probably. He'll probably text me and tell me all the. That dude picked up a staccato. He's got a staccato.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, remind me of that. Ain't that we got stuck on that one for the price.
Yeah, so it's like super expensive. It's like I don't know how much he spent on it. It's over $1,000, closer to $2,000 probably, maybe $3,000. I'm not sure.
That's not as bad as I thought.
No, but it's a slick gun. It's kind of like a lot of people use it to like compete.
Okay.
It's like a competition style gun, but it's right up his alley. So he calls it a 1911. So it's a 1911 variant because it's a double stack 9mm. But man, are they slick.
There's a Canik for that. There's a Canik competition.
There is. So you need you need a new Canik. So we'll stay on you. You just need to get that and pair that up with your new red dot.
I may. Especially the only problem I have with the Canik that I have, you have to remove the rear sight, and I'm like,
Okay, so
in some ways I don't like it because looking through the red dot when it's off and trying to find your sights is a little more difficult. But I would like to have that as an option as well. I don't know what I want.
So let's talk about this. So typically with the SCS, it has a built-in rear sight on it. And they sit low enough that you don't have to have suppressor height sights. That's one of the big draws, right?
Right.
It doesn't take an adapter plate. It sits low enough that you don't need suppressor height sights. And so it has a built-in rear sight. So you have to take it off, but it replaces it for you.
Okay, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, some of them. I think that it does on that one. But I don't know. It's red dots are the shit, man. I'm telling you right now. I have a red dot, obviously, and I don't like people. I'm going to take the front sight off. I think I hate seeing that sight. I don't want to see that sight. It impedes my window, my viewfinder. I don't like it, and people are like, "Oh, don't worry, it's co-witness with this. It's in it." I don't care about any of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, so I really don't know what I want.
I'm using mine defensively.
I may take them both off.
Yeah,
front and back. Just knock them off.
Well, I got a grinder.
Yeah, but I have a Canik. You don't treat a Canik that way.
We'll fill it in with some JV weld.
Some wood putty.
So
Give it the wood accents.
People tell me, what if your red dot goes down? That's why they said it, right?
Yeah.
And this is like sacrilegious.
It's the same thing as if your gun fails.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen, but it's not.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Like all the other instructors and
You're not
people
gonna
out
prepare
there
for
who
everything.
who follow some of the tactical channels are just like they're screaming at me right now as they listen to this. But I tell you what, my gun is for defensive purposes, and honestly, if you are right there, the defensive encounter I'm going to be in is probably going to be up close and personal, and I don't care. I'm probably point shooting at that point anyway, and I'll probably just go ahead and square you up right in the middle of the viewfinder there at the window and just let you have it at that point.
I know where it's going.
Yeah. So, that's the way I look at it. But, it's summer. Well, let's talk about the Canik and we'll talk about something else.
Here, one question.
Oh, yeah.
Have you tried any distance shooting iron sights back to the red dot?
Yes, I have.
How far?
So remember then that guy was it Indiana, the mall shooter?
Yeah.
He took out the guy, it was like 50, how was it, 50 yards?
I don't remember. It was a nice shot. It was a headshot.
It was 50 feet, 50 yards.
One shot.
Yeah, he took out that guy with the rifle in the mall. So when that happened, God, 50 feet.
Was that the headshot? Anyway, go ahead.
50 feet or 50 yards, right? And he didn't hit anyone else. He hit the shooter, right? So I went ahead and I measured that off. I put a big piece of cardboard and a bigger rifle style, man-sized target,
right?
And I measured it off. And I think it was Henry came out and shot with me, And I actually had the women in my women's group last year just get a feel for it, right? And I measured everything off with my freaking rangefinder, so I knew I was good. And I went back, and I wanted to figure this out. So I used my gun with the dot, and I used the gun without. And I still hit, right, the target, the silhouette.
Center mass, yeah.
Center, with the red dot. But I was more accurate at that distance, honestly, with my iron sights.
See, that's always been my concern.
See, but I was always told it was opposite. I was always told, oh, you can take the longer shots quicker, you get better. I was more accurate with my irons at distance.
Yeah.
And I know that there's going to be a little drop. It's like a scope. But I mean, I wasn't off like up and down, like you think you would. I was off left and right. It was easier for me to be way more accurate with my irons at distance.
And that extra question, did that red dot have a plate underneath it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that elevates it a little more up, which angles that distance
you got the
down a little bit.
Fancy stuff you're doing, and
well, it raises it up so
they intersect differently.
At 10 feet they're lined up perfect. The co-witness at a longer distance, it's got a little bit of a down angle because it's
right. But see, I wasn't really off. My shots I was off. It was either left or right, and I tried to replicate my shooting, right? It's really hard. You pick
the
up
pattern was about the same size too?
The pattern was, So, no, it was a little bigger with off further left and right with the red dot.
Right.
And if I think back, I actually used, so this is what I used. I had two VP9s, because I have two VP9s.
Right.
They were set up the exact same way. Same trigger, same grip, same rubber. You've seen them, right?
Yeah.
They're almost a spitting image, right? Except for, I think one of the triggers is painted red. Everything was exactly the same, except for one had a red dot on it. And so and what I did to excuse me, back this up. Now I remember this is like my brain. Okay, it's getting a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
So this is what
It's
I did.
hot outside, man.
Because I had because I had those two VP9s. What I did is the one that I always shoot like all the time. I went ahead and shot it with the red dot. Then I swapped slides, so it had the exact same trigger, the exact same everything, just a different upper, just a different slide because one had the red dot attached, one did not.
Right.
And I was really surprised. I was way more accurate with iron sights at 50.
When you say way more accurate,
I was a lot more accurate. I had a tighter group.
by how much?
Oh, gosh. I got pictures of it somewhere.
I'm just,
I mean,
it's like 4 inches in one group and 10 inches in the next.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But, I mean, it was still center mass. It still would have stopped someone.
Right.
But I felt more confident with my irons at that distance. And I don't know if it's because it was further out and that red dot was just moving a little bit more in the, you know what I'm saying? Because I was trying hard to get everything dialed in. I don't know what it was. Now, this where red dots in my book, where they excel, where you excel with a red dot, right, is up close and personal. It's up close. It's you're shooting center mass. You're fast. And I tell the students that. I was like, you could be pretty accurate with a red dot. Like you can stack shots in the center of the bullseye. But typically, I was like, it's for quick acquisition. It's for banging 6-inch plates. It's for center mass type stuff. And a lot of people, a lot of times, if you want to just sit there and shoot bullseye targets, you know what? Unless you got eye issues, iron sights will work just fine. But red dots are fun. Man, they are fun. And when you come from the draw and present the gun, it's just way quicker and way faster because you're just it's target focused. Right? You're focused on the target. You're placing it right up in between you and the target, and bang, bang, bang. And when you
I can see it shave off a lot of time.
It can. And when you move,
once you get used to it.
When you move, there's not yes. And there's one hang up, and I've talked about it before, but I like this. I like red dot talk. I like the red dot podcast.
Used to be the anti-red dot.
It used to be, man. Now I'm just like, I'm taking off the front sights. When you go for target acquisition from target to target, because that's a drill, this target to that target, and I teach them how to move. Right? It's much quicker with the red dot because you're not trying to line up your eyes with the rear sights, with the front sight, with the target. You're just bang. You're just moving it and bang. And so the hardest part about a red dot, it's not even that hard. you have to learn how to acquire it
Right.
when you drive the gun out. But once you get it, man. And it's quicker.
So you're saying you need practice.
And you you need practice of everything. But I mean, it's something you can do at home too, right?
Right.
Practice the grip, practice presenting the gun, and grabbing the red dot, and practice that trigger press. Right? It all works. It all works together, man. But it will take a good shooter who doesn't shoot with a red dot. You still have to know the fundamentals. Don't get me wrong. Fundamentals. Right. You have to have that.
All trigger pull.
You can take a good shooter, give him a red dot, and you make him a 20% better shooter in a matter of minutes. Once they figure out the red dot, they're just a better shooter. They're quicker, they're faster, they're all that stuff. You got to get one, dude.
Well, I got one.
Well, you got to get another one for your Canik. So there was a woman in my women's group, and she struggles. And this is quite interesting, actually. And I got a comment. I could read it, but I'll just tell you what she said. She actually sent me a comment.
Okay.
Actually, a text message. And I posted it on the Facebook page if you guys want to go look at it. She has tremors. Like tremors really, like quite a bit.
Okay.
Right? And so we're not talking about a red dot right now, okay? We're going to talk about a Canik. Because she had a little gun, I forget what she says. She has a little SIG, a smaller one, and she likes it.
Much heavier trigger.
Yeah, and she has a Taurus of some kind. I think the G2C or something, right? Okay. As much as when I like to give them crap, they do go bang every single time.
They're for the price, for what you're getting, understand, and it's fine.
Yep. And her fundamentals are really good, and she's tried, and she's been trying since the very beginning of class that we started in February, right? And going, and she struggles because she has tremors that she can't control that. That's just something. And so she showed up. She went and borrowed her son's gun. And we've been talking about different things, and I had sent her some videos on different things. And one of the videos I send out to people if they ask is when you're shooting and you're shooting a little quicker and you're acquiring different targets, is your body likes rhythm. Your body likes rhythm, and so when you shoot, it's all about rhythm, right? You got to keep the rhythm up, and your body, your brain will respond because your brain likes rhythm. And I showed her that video. And she'd watched it, and she borrowed her son's gun, and she came in. It was a lot bigger gun. It was a Canik. It was like the first-gen Canik, like the TP9, whatever, right? It's still a good gun, good trigger, but compared to where they are now, crap. I mean, really, it is. I mean, that was the entry level, right? But
I got that gun.
Very well. It's a very good gun.
Yeah,
I remember when you brought it over.
Yeah,
and she likes it. I walked by her, and I'm like, whoa. She's like, hey, Todd, check this out. And she was actually stacking some of them in the center of the bullseye. She goes, I haven't done that before. And it's something...
A lot less trigger.
And I think it has something to do with the longer sight radius, right? It's not as short, so it doesn't... She just likes it better. And she went home, and I think she went and did some other shooting, and then she sent me a text message saying, man, it just clicked. It was like a light switched on. She goes, I changed the gun, a better trigger, a nicer grip, and she's like, and then I started realizing I needed to focus on what you talked about. Your brain likes rhythm. When you shoot, your brain likes rhythm, right? Don't shoot erratically. Take your time and focus. And when she could do that, it didn't make her tremors go away, but she was able to control everything. It's very fascinating to me, like, how it worked for her. But she's on top of the world. I think she's probably out gun shopping as we speak, because that was just this week. And I think she shot me that text on Friday.
Cool.
I told her, I said, go out and find yourself a Canik rival. Mm-hmm. I said, if you like this one and it's a good gun, your mind's going to be blown when you pick up the rival, because it's even better.
Yeah.
It's even better. So
it's better. It's, I'm not sure how many that thing holds. All the Caniks have.
So the rivals are supposed to be their competition gun.
Okay.
And you can buy black, and it's trimmed in this horrible gold color.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. It's it's got a mag wheel on it.
Right.
And it's gold. It's like this. It looks like it's the same gold as the 19X. G19X is that trashy Cadillac gold color. And the slide lock is gold, and everything's this weird gold against the black, right? They do have one that is all black, everything.
She can get the Miami version of the Canik.
I know.
Miami.
Isn't that the meta?
I just don't know.
You need to get that one.
I don't
You
want
called me. You saw it. No, you do. And which one did we
it
decide
was
was
like
the
the
best?
'90s Miami Vice colors
So they have a day
with
scene.
palm trees on it.
They have a day scene and then the night scene,
Yeah.
right? The night scene looked coolest.
Yeah.
And I want you to show up with no socks and freaking loafers on,
Yeah.
and like a pink shirt,
And cargo shorts.
and a suit and a sports jacket.
And whip that bad boy out.
Yeah, you should do that. We'd put that on YouTube. That'd be freaking fantastic.
Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, everyone wants to see it. So and I'm going to throw this out there too. Where I was thinking about this the other day. It hit me. It hit me in my last permit class. I had a permit class not yesterday, but the weekend before, last Saturday, and it hit me. We're talking about mag limits in different states, right, and how they, magazine capacity limits and the laws and different things, and it hit me. Okay. I know why Magnum PI carried in 1911.
Is it in Hawaii?
It was a mag capacity issue. That's what it was. It was a magazine capacity issue. It's the only reason he carried that 1911. I'm sure he would have had something cool like an HK or something like that if he, I don't.
What are they?
He could have had the squeeze cocker.
I'm trying to think of what was in the market.
What was in the market? Was
I don't
that
know.
when did that show originally air? It was in the 80s.
I think it was the 80s. Yeah, it was the 80s.
Well, okay, what guns were in Miami Vice? I mean, I remember the shows, but I was so young, I wasn't into firearms exactly.
I couldn't tell you. Maybe 1911s.
I don't think it was the 1911. Why do I? It had to be like a Smith and Wesson,
I don't know. I couldn't.
like a Smith and Wesson, like 6906 or something.
I don't know. Somebody out there is searching guns of Miami Vice.
They're screaming right now, but yeah. So the 1911, that's just not.
It was
a thing.
SCCY.
Go. Well, and the way Magnum carried that,
Right.
no holster, tucked in the back of his pants. That thing should have been rusty as hell. It was in a salty environment,
Yeah, tropical environment.
tropical, humid ocean, and then you got butt crack sweat on it.
Maybe had a Navy model.
It was the Marine model.
Well, he was in the Navy. So
Yeah, he was.
we turn it into the Magnum PI.
I'm sorry. It dawned on me, and I'm like, you guys don't understand though. So I've been doing the podcast myself, and I have students that show up, right? But like, if besides my family and my students, like I don't see anybody else, so I have to talk about shit that I come up with, like over the course of like 6 months since I've
Yeah, it's been a while.
seen you last. Now, don't get me wrong, I do call you
Right.
and say, hey, are you still breathing, man? You still alive?
Sometimes.
Just to check on you. So I'm gonna pull up my magic list here and see what I got on. I haven't had to do this for a while.
Look at you, got a list.
Yeah, it's got 3 things on it that I jotted down while I was watching a YouTube video about 10 minutes before you showed up. And I think we might have covered it all already, but we don't need to shut it down quite yet.
Magnum PI ain't on your list.
No, see,
we adding in, man.
I was
extra content.
I was just freaking spitballing it. I was
value.
spitballing it. So guess what? So here's the thing. I've been getting lazy.
Okay.
And everyone's just going to shake their head because I got these phenomenal carry guns, right? I mean, in my mind, I got this HKP30, which I have not bought a holster for yet, so I haven't carried it yet. Got the red dot switched over to it, so I'm not carrying it yet, right? As we get hot, I don't know, is it because I'm getting older? I find myself, I'm ashamed to admit this.
Okay.
I find myself, and I've showed pictures of it. Been carrying the gun that I take running with me in a little tiny Kydex holster with no clip on it because I haven't put a clip on it yet, but it holds the gun in place, protects the trigger, which is important. And I've been pocket carrying my Kel-Tec P3. It's easy. It's nice.
Right.
I don't know. I feel slightly ashamed.
Yeah. Just not caring as much anymore.
Well, honestly, I don't leave the house much except for to go running. I mean, I might run up to the grocery store or do something, but
You still make holsters, don't you?
I got all the equipment. I don't know if I ever really made them. I kind of did. I suck at it. And I just don't have the attention span to sit there and figure out what I'm doing wrong. I try. And you're like,
I
well,
was thinking, say, you could just pound a clip onto it, huh?
Yeah, I got some clips. I got some Ulta clips, which are really cool, and I'm getting a little bit better at it. I'm still not selling anything, and that's the only one I use for that little gun because.
Well, I mean,
does it have to be pretty? It really does. For me, it doesn't. It has to be functional.
Yeah, and besides, what are you wearing? I mean, I'm not assuming you're not out there running wearing a belt. No,
so see this.
That's secure.
I know no one can see this. See that right next to you, that vest?
Yeah.
I have a smaller one than that. It's not as heavy and bulky, and it's got a little tight elastic pocket in it that I just shove it in. I can just reach in.
It's even better,
but
man.
But when I go to town, though, like I went to Lowe's the other day, I just dropped that baby in that holster right in my freaking pocket of my pants. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking the big guns today." She just looks at me and shakes her head. She's like, "You better not let that get out."
How is that Kel-Tec?
It's
oh my God, save me kind of gun. I mean, it's not.
It's fiery.
It's not your preferred.
I've shot it
entering into a confrontation, but
probably not. No, okay. No. And I do carry the other one too, but I just find myself as it gets hotter. Right.
I'm assuming the trigger's this nasty.
Oh, it's freaking horrible. But I find, so I find actually that I need to. It's been a really weird year for running. I'm bringing this up because I've been carrying that little gun.
Right.
And there's this guy, this older guy that's out there on the trails all the time. Good guy. He's out there with his goofy lab, and he just walks, right? He's just older guy, he's trying to health. He always waves and says hi to me.
Right.
Well, it's been a really weird year around here, especially down there where I run on the trails. The coyotes have been like ultra aggressive. Like I've been running down there for almost 7 years now. I've never seen them aggressive. I've seen coyotes and they just run away, right? But lately, if people have dogs down there, these coyotes are like insane.
Everything's going crazy. Look at the orcas that are sinking boats.
Yeah. I mean, these coyotes, like if your dog is off the leash but like close to you, this guy can't go a week. Like I thought it was just because the coyotes had babies, right? They had pups and they had a den somewhere.
Right.
But I just talked to him again today. Happened last week. He started carrying his gun down there months ago because his dog is like only a few feet from him. Coyotes are running out of the brush and trying to like make off with his dog. He said the other day he had his gun out because the coyote was like 4 feet from him. There was like 2 coyotes and they were like growling and barking and howling at his dog, and his dog was in between them and the coyotes. He had his gun out. He said he thought he was going to have to shoot one of them. So it gets it's pretty intense. And when I hear that, right, I mean, I'm just like, well, I make sure I have my gun. He's like, I got my gun with me. He's like, I don't want to shoot one, but he goes, when it's just you and your dog and the thing's like literally 4 or 5 feet from you, he's like, that's unnatural.
Yeah, I think I would have shot.
Yeah, so
I mean, they can close that distance pretty quick.
Well, especially when there's earlier in the spring there was like whole packs of them doing that. He said it was just insane down there. So, and there's more and more people living in the parking lot down there, like weird camping in the parking lots.
Down where?
At Auger Falls. It's down in the canyon, and I see more like people like maybe without jobs that look like they just like live out of their vehicles. It's getting a little weird down there.
Okay, that's odd.
It is, and so I'm down there in the morning when it's and you just never know what you're going to find out there. You just don't. More and more people are showing up to go fishing and down there on the river, and I look at them and I'm like, yeah, you're not just a fisherman. Like, I think you're fishing to like survive. I mean,
Yeah.
So and I'm not picking on someone who's hard on their luck, down on their luck like that, but it's true though. I think they're just fishing because they have to, and it's like people are desperate. You never.
That's the word I was looking for.
I mean, I've got a little running pack on, and I got a bunch of freaking fruit snacks in there and stuff. I got to keep fueling, So I'm like, maybe jump me and take my fruit snacks. Take my granola bars. We can't be having that.
At that point, we have lost the nation. He's got fruit snacks. Get him. It's over, man. It's over.
Oh shoot, man!
Can't check your mail. Go check your mail without Kevlar on.
Oh well, yeah, they might take your fruit snacks.
Yeah, that's a level of desperation.
Actually, you can if you have a PO box, you can check your mail without it because you're not allowed to have firearms in the post office.
Okay.
And everyone obeys that rule.
Of course.
I'm sure of it. It's a federal building. Show some respect.
I always follow the laws that I'm forced to.
Exactly. Yeah, they were forced to follow all of them. Oh man.
Yeah.
So we have any like you're Mr. like politics, right?
Yeah.
You follow it, right? You go check out the Forgotten American Pod. I was going to add the to it.
Yeah.
Go check out Forgotten American Podcast, and you can keep up on the politics as well. Like I don't have to because I just listen to your podcast. Now, granted, it might be a month behind, but I'm not dogging on your podcast. Dude.
It is. Ain't nothing I can say.
So presidential, like for Second Amendment. I know we're just kind of getting started here. Who you think's going to be our best guy for the 2A? And can we trust any of them?
No, I think that's the no. Nope. We got nothing. I mean, you naturally want to go with the Republican, which should be Trump.
Do you? Do you naturally want to go with the Republican? Yeah.
Well,
you know me.
Yeah, I know. Well, usually we get our guns, we get stuff taken through Republican administrations, but it's we'll see. Just like Trump with his bump stock, he went and got the advice of the NRA, which is the best he could do. I mean, he's not as much as he can connect to the grassroots conservative people. He's still a billionaire, a New York billionaire. I mean, see, he's not out.
Right. Yeah.
He goes. You want to find out something spiritual? You go talk to Franklin Graham because he's popular. He's got a lot of followers. You want to find out something about guns? Go talk to the NRA because they're the standard. According to these people. So he said they told him to take it. Nobody cares for it, and he did it.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
And then once he did that and they found out how pissed off people were, the NRA came out and said, "We didn't tell him to do that." Remember that?
No.
Yeah, they actually came out and like, "We didn't tell him to do that."
Probably didn't.
The freaking NRA though, there was a video and I was going to send it to you and I totally forgot. There is this attorney up in Washington State and he breaks down all kinds of stuff. Anything that the ATF is doing, like he breaks it down. I think I actually have played some of his audio files. You can find them on YouTube. I actually played some of his audio stuff on the podcast where it's like, what happens if the ATF shows up to your house? What do you do? Right? Great guy, very well spoken. He's all for your gun rights, And he actually put out a video the other day, and he noticed that every time he would do a video, there was a handful of people that would like, "Oh, freaking NRA." And he's like, "Man, I'm noticing all this hate for the NRA." So he actually asked people. He actually made a video and put a question out there, and then he made a whole video about comments that people made, like people's response. And he asked them, said, "For all the money that you may have invested into the NRA, do you think you're getting the bang for your buck? Like, no. you're getting a return on your investment?" And he just spent like 15 minutes reading comments. Like there was 2 of them. And he said he had to dig through all the comments to find a handful of people. He said he had to dig to find a handful of people that actually were talking good about the NRA. And the majority of them was, "Yeah, so like I might give you like some money if you guys get rid of Wayne." I mean, it was absolutely amazing. And so I have to jump on it. And that was sent to me by a buddy of mine and a subscriber to the podcast, Nathan. He goes, "I suppose you've seen this." And I'm like, "I have not. Thank you very much. Anything NRA related, I need to see."
Gun Owners of America is in court right now.
Yes.
Suing over the arm brace. The NRA is not. NRA, the thing that got the NRA this mythical status is everything the left does is manufactured. It's all fake. They have to hire people and actors, and it's AstroTurf. There's no grassroots to it.
Right.
So when they do anything about guns, I've seen Wayne say this, LaPierre, that all the gun owners call in and start raising hell with the switchboard to congressmen saying, "Hey, stop this. And they would come to him and say, "Call off your people. Stop them. Don't send them.
Yeah.
Stop sending them after us." And he said, "I got nothing to do with this." And I believe him. So on that status in Washington, they blame the NRA for everything because they are all fake. They're all AstroTurf. And they think all these callers, that's just AstroTurf from the NRA. And it's not. It's actual gun owners.
Yeah.
So they, by proxy, get this reputation of being the strong organization, and they're not.
They're not. I think at one point they might have been. So this is, I also follow a Facebook page, Spike Cohen, and he was actually a guy that no one would know this but me in this room probably. He was the guy that ran for, he was a Libertarian vice president. Okay. The last time we voted. So I follow him, and he's great to follow on Facebook. This is what he put. This came out a couple days ago. Actually, it was yesterday. It says, breaking firearms. The Firearms Policy Coalition, so the FPC, just destroyed the ATF's frame or receiver rule. It says, under the now gorilla-stomped rule, the ATF considered just about every potential part of a firearm to be in and of itself a firearm, and they tried to regulate it as such. We are one step closer to a day when gun control is dead, and the ATF is just the name of a convenience store. Then the FPC said, this is a monumental victory against the tyrannical ATF. Firearms Policy Coalition and FPC Law have argued that this rogue agency has unlawfully attacked gun owners in this latest round of rulemaking, and we are grateful to see the court agree. We will not stop, however, with this latest victory. FPC and FPC Law will continue to bring these cases to put a stop to the immoral and unconstitutional actions of the disarmament regime. So there's places, and I bring that up because you mentioned the GOA. There's places like FPC and the GOA and stuff where you're better off putting your money. When's the last time you have actually seen the NRA come out and say that they were in court, that they were suing someone, that they were? It's not. But you know what? They call me 4 times a week looking for my money. Yeah. And I tell everyone, I have distanced myself. And this wasn't, when I started saying this, it wasn't popular. As far as like for people in my, they would come to my classes, right? Because they would always ask about the NRA and are you a member? I've never been a member of the NRA. Never. Now, the only way the NRA gets any of my money is when I do what? Is when I have to renew my instructor certification. Because for a couple things, I have to have that certification. I paid for it. I have to renew it every so many years. And so that's the only way they get my money. In fact, when I first started Patriot Defense, just for some street cred, right? I would put NRA, like, on a certificate. This is an NRA class. It's good enough to help you get, counts for your enhancement. I've taken anything that I possibly can, NRA, off of my PowerPoints, off of all my paperwork, off of absolutely everything, because I do not want to be associated with them any more than just having my instructor certification. And the only reason that some people might, well, you can go get certified by other branches, other places, right? The only other place I can really go get certified from is going to be the USCCA, and they want like $700 to do so. Wow. And I refuse to pay $700 to do so. And then I've got to teach so many of their classes every year and use their material. And I'm not doing that. I'm not being controlled. Not
a franchise.
I'm not doing that, right? In fact, I told the USCCA, they have good insurance, but I told them they could go pound sand. In fact, I don't allow them back in my classes at all. If you want to go buy their insurance, go for it. I think their insurance is probably absolutely fantastic. But for me to be able to associate with them, it's like they're running a freaking pyramid scheme. That's what it is. I give them my classes. It's just a weird way they have it set up. But anyhow, the NRA,
which I've looked over their insurance and it sounds great, but when they pull those kind of tactics with the
until you use it, you don't really know.
Yeah, I'm wondering how good it's going to be.
Yeah, so I just
got some trust issues.
Right.
As soon as I hear this kind of stuff, because if you're reading it on paper, their insurance is great.
I'm actually thinking about, I just haven't, too lazy, haven't done it yet. So I got some awesome posters from the USCCA, like instructional posters hanging up all over my classroom, but it's got that big freaking USCCA stamp on it. I'm getting ready to go in and just cut that part out. Or I'm actually thinking about just putting a Patriot Defense sticker over it.
There you go.
So what are they going to do, man? I got a whole bunch of their freaking plastic ammo cans, like a bunch of them. And I filled them with ammo. I got a whole stack of them in the other room. But there you go. Do you want a USCCA hat?
No.
I've got like 80.
I'll take an ammo can.
I've got an empty ammo can in the other room. I'll get you one. But it's anyhow, this is a long way of saying that the NRA, I've wiped them from everything I have. I just have to keep that accreditation. Otherwise, I'm not a fan. They could in fact, honestly, I don't hear about them anymore, so I kind of forget they exist. Except for when they call me.
Yeah, you
don't hear about them
no.
anymore. In fact, people still bring them up, like when there talks about gun rights and stuff, but not as much.
No,
you don't hear about them here. They are
had
dying.
a couple of big lawsuits, and then they went radio silent. Man, you don't hear nothing.
Yeah, but pretty much I think the only way they're getting their money now is people who've, I when I think of the NRA, I think of the dusty, musty, like flannel wearing, pipe smoking, like proper game farm hunters. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like from the back east. That's what I think of. I'm gonna have my lifetime membership, and then I want to go into your fancy museum and look at your over and unders, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
like the bird dog people.
They lost their cool when the Charlton Heston went away.
Well, and when you get, and I believe you told me, I think it was you who said he was separated from them. But I mean, when people like Coleon Noir, when they separate from, you know what I'm saying, and do your own thing, like he was there. I like Coleon. I got nothing bad to say, but I like his videos. He was their way of getting the new generation of firearms under. He was young, he was hip, he was cool, he dresses fancy guns. I mean,
he's a good speaker.
He is a great speaker.
He knows how to. He's an attorney, so he knows how to get his point across.
He's very eloquent.
He's so much better than Wayne. Wayne sucks.
Well, and what Coleon did, I mean, even to the point of when he separated from them, because I believe he is all the way. He just used that to roll right over into his own videos. I mean, he's got his own brand and his own, and that was perfect. I mean, he just used that that's a stepping stone, and I'm going to get paid for it. I'm going to just roll it over. So
yeah, well, he's
good for him.
He's so much better of a spokesman than Wayne is. Wayne can't read a teleprompter.
Well, Wayne's too busy.
Let alone give a speech.
He's too busy buying $250,000 suits.
Man, that's a hell of a suit.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. He's just too busy doing that. He's in multiple vacation homes. He's too busy visiting with Democrats, going, "Let's work something out."
Yeah.
How can we?
Let's make the deal.
Let's make a deal.
You give me money. Tell me what you want to get rid of, and I'll spread it to the Second Amendment community.
And the problem that I have with the NRA,
saying this is the best we could do,
and the problem I have with it too, and we talked about this even with Trump, right? Is his one big downfall is his ego,
right?
And if the NRA says, "Hey, why don't you come to this fancy dinner? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" They can get in there and make him do whatever they freaking want.
Give him an award.
That's all he needs.
NRA,
I got this Second Amendment award.
Super Champion Award. That's it. That's all.
That's right. He's the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, they just make up an award, give it to him. His ego is his Achilles heel.
Yeah. So, pretty. I don't know. I love talking about the NRA.
Well, what they should do today, the Idaho GOP voted unanimously to disband the FBI if it can't be reformed. You're getting to where the state...
Idaho just did that?
The GOP, not the House or Senate, which hopefully that will turn into House and Senate legislation. You can ban the FBI from your state and the ATF.
You can do a lot of things, but you have to stand up for it.
Yeah.
Like when they try to come in, you got to say, whoa.
Yeah.
You're not allowed here. And do you think that we have anyone that would do that? Zero.
Maybe. Not in the governor's mansion. He's weak as he could be. But your sheriff could do it. But the problem is a lot of them are weak. They want to talk about all this courage and stuff, and it's like when you got the whole government backing you, it makes it a lot easier. When you're fighting against Goliath, it's tougher.
Yeah.
Now, where are those guys at?
Well, I don't know that
Love to see them.
And I don't know that anything like that would actually happen here because our governor sure likes federal money.
Yeah. Well,
and I guarantee you're not going to get that federal money if you do something like that.
Well, that's where, and the feds, that's the first thing they do. You're not going to get federal money. It's like, cool, we're not paying federal taxes anymore. This is where you get the secession stuff.
I'd love it, but it will not happen.
But if they did, if somebody would say, all right, we're not paying federal taxes anymore. Basically, we're separating.
I could
here.
say that, but it's not going to go well for me.
I need the government to back me, my local government.
It will not back you on that.
No, nobody has yet. If we could get some states' rights going, we could right this ship
Yeah.
or separate from it. And
I'm
cool
telling you
either
right
way.
now, it's all about libertarianism.
I'm backing away from that.
There's problems with everything.
Well, the problem is everybody's using our system against us.
Yeah.
And going down the letter of the law, and I have the right to do this and that. And we're in a state of chaos. There has to be a set limit where this far and no further. You're not doing this. Or we're getting into the... That's what the whole drag queen story hour stuff is. They're using our system against us, and it's like, you have the right to read to children. Why can't I? Because you're a pervert. That's what. But you have to. I think we need a strong hand.
We're just all chaos.
We need a strong man. Yeah, I know.
I'm honestly, I mean, it doesn't matter in this state, and we've went over this before, and I'm sure we will coming up in the future because it's going to get heated up, I'm sure. It doesn't matter who I vote for in this state. It makes no difference. And we've had long, in-depth conversations about this, so I don't know.
Yeah, whoever the GOP is pushing is who's going to win.
Yeah.
And we have other people that run Republican with the party title behind them, but whoever the GOP pushes is who gets the money, and then they take them on these radio shows and they ambush them and all this stuff, and they set them up, and the GOP's working with the radio guys and all this, and the TV guys, and they ambush them, and that's where the big money's at, and they chop their legs off and make them look silly, and your average GOP voter says, who does the GOP say vote for? This guy, and that's who wins.
Yeah.
And it's always some rhino.
Did you hear about that guy in Montana who owns that gun store? And he showed up this happened like, I don't know, a few months back, but it just kind of came out as a story here in the last little while. And he showed up to his store to open up his gun store in Montana. I think it was up in like Miles City area or somewhere. But he showed up, and the IRS was there with guns.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about that guy?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of interesting. And then they took
85,000 new agents.
Yeah, and so they
Fully
took
funded.
they took a bunch of his records, and there was actually an ATF guy, local ATF guy, that was like, what they took is they took all his freaking firearms records.
Right.
And those are required. I guess those are required to stay with the gun store. And there was actually an ATF agent in that area that was saying, you can't take those. Like, you can't take those. It's a federal. You cannot take those. It's a federal law. You can't take those.
Come stop me.
And so he started pushing, and then magically a phone call came in, and it was from one of his higher ups. And they're like, no, just let him take them.
Yeah. Just ignore it.
I want to know what's up. I want to know exactly exactly why they were there, what's up. It's very interesting. And then the IRS, it's like all those new IRS agents. It's like, was this like okay, boys, we've been training.
Yeah, we got millions of rounds of ammo.
We're gonna get Wally out front, and we're gonna take this baby for our first actual run. It's game time
in Montana.
In Montana, of all places.
Oh well.
I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think that we're going to start seeing more and more and more of that.
Yeah.
In fact, speaking of purchasing firearms and like background checks, I've been talking locally to a lot. Well, they actually been getting a hold of me. A lot of the local gun stores. I've had 3 of them approach me and bring this up with me, and they wanted me to actually encourage everyone. Like, if you live in the state of Idaho and you get your enhanced concealed carry permit, like, they don't actually have to send off for the background check. You fill out the paperwork. They don't call it in. They write some numbers down off your permit, and then you go and purchase the firearm.
Right.
So you can do it whether or not the system is down or not. It doesn't matter. But they said the system has been going down a lot lately, and there's a ton of people that have been buying firearms. In fact, I talked to someone who said they went into a place over in Wendell to purchase a firearm, and the guy told him the guy who was selling it said he was the only guy that had gotten through that day. Like everyone else is waiting. They have to wait. And the system's been doing that a lot, and it's been just shutting down as of late. Like for random. Yeah, and so
you got to have the enhanced or just conceal.
Yeah.
Conceal's legit too.
no,
right?
I think you're right. Just I think it is.
Yeah, because I have the conceal and
Yes, it's either permit. You're right. I haven't given a class for the basic permit for so long. It's been like years because everyone.
if you're going to do it, go ahead and get the enhanced.
So yeah, well, once you have your actual permit, and for the state of Idaho, they don't have to call it in. But it's very interesting that when you go and purchase a gun, and that'd be another way. Obviously, we've talked about it before, that they could shut down and control the flow of weapons, right? The flow of guns to people is they control the system that does the check. All they got to do is shut it. Oh, it's time for maintenance.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a big power outage. Oh, the system got overloaded.
They're so criminal.
Yeah.
They're going to start false flagging it even with guns. Send in people who can't get guns, clear them, sell the gun. We didn't clear that. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see that.
They are so criminal these days. It's amazing.
Yeah, I could definitely, yeah. They false flag all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they plant people in crowds to stir up protests. I mean,
The
just
whole Patriot Front, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the FBI's coming in and arresting them all, and they're like leaving their faces covered and stuff. So, I'll tell you what, this is the longest podcast I've done in like probably 8 months.
Did we clear your list? I don't think we cleared your list.
I think we only had 2 items on the damn list.
Okay.
Did I forget something?
I don't know. We just went all over the place, man.
I love it, man. I miss these podcasts.
Let's go to Alaska, kill some bears.
You're moving, I'm moving. You're going to go up there and
If I go to Alaska, I'm getting a 50.
You're going to go up there and you're going to find us a piece of ground that I can come up. You're going to scout out, and I'm going to come up and we'll homestead it.
I'm trying. I'm looking. I'm shopping now. I'm like, now that it's an easy possibility, I'm like, Alaska, where the highs in the summer reach about 68 degrees.
So listen.
I love it.
So listen to this, and not very many people know this. And I looked and looked and looked. Not too long. Well, it was before I moved here, before I was in BO, before I knew you.
Right.
When I was living in Kansas, I looked and I did my research, and I can't even remember the name of the town, but there was a town up there that was just trying to populate itself.
Oh,
and they were
giving away stuff.
They were giving away like 4 or 5 acre parcels.
Oh,
nice. But you had to apply for it.
Right.
And then if you got it, you had to come and start doing improvements.
Build on it.
And I was close. Like I was like, let's make the phone call, honey. Let's fill out the paperwork.
Yeah.
Like I was that close, which would have been a lot easier because now that my kids have moved out and have freaking grandkids, like my wife doesn't want to do nothing. She won't leave. I'm stuck here. I might just have to move up there with you. We'll leave her. It'll be like I'm working in the oil fields or something.
Yeah, I'll come back every winter.
Well, hell, we got FaceTime. We're good.
Send me an email.
I spent probably a good part of 6 or 7 months. I was so close to moving to Alaska. Like we were like, okay, we were down to the point of where, okay, what will we take with us? Like we go down in the garage or go downstairs and go, okay, like we could just sell all this now. We could get this. This is how much money we could get for a house. I mean, we were working it out. Like I don't know what kept us. I can't remember, but we were close. I was close. I was going to freaking Alaska, dude.
I'm looking at what kind of equity I have in my home. I'm shopping. I'm like, right now it's a daydream, but it's a doable thing. And I'm like,
I don't know. Maybe it'll happen.
We're expanding in Alaska.
I want to go to. I want to live in Alaska. I want to go to Alaska, get a little homestead spot. Like I want to go to the end of like the road, the dirt road, like park my vehicle there and like go in like another freaking 5 or 10 miles and like homestead. And I want to be that sovereign citizen. Are you in?
I'm in, and we just got to brush up on our Russian.
Okay.
During the big war, Russia's going to take Alaska.
That's okay. Everything's a risk.
Yeah. Well,
Everything is a risk.
if it's the Russians or the Chinese, I'll take the Russians.
I know who we could get in on this, and he's gonna laugh when he hears this. You know who we need to get on our side, don't you?
Yeah. Got the Russian wife.
Yeah, and she's got family in Alaska.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you right now, dude. We need to get up there. We really do need to get up there.
I'm looking at it.
He's got an in, I'm sure. We'd have a community garden. We could get firewood together. We could go kill us the caribou and moose and stuff.
Yeah. Just come on, man. That's Alaska. It's the Wild West.
And we could build we got to. We're gonna start our own homesteading podcast. So anyhow, hey man, it was fun. I'm so glad you reached out and said, hey dude, we need to do a podcast.
Yeah, I need to do one today. Maybe today, maybe in the morning.
So I do appreciate you stopping by. And again, if everyone listens to the podcast, I appreciate that. Share it on your social media. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends, and reach out to me. I've had a handful of new subscribers, new listeners. Actually text me. In fact, there's one guy, I keep corresponding with him. He lives down in Texas.
Okay.
And he might be a good one to get on our side too, because the dude's a contractor down there.
All right.
Yeah, so I've been chatting with him a little bit and getting to know him. So anyhow, get a hold of me. I don't mind talking, man. Call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. And as the summer wanes on and you guys run out of podcasts to listen to, look up Forgotten American.
Guaranteed to have at least one a month.
On a good day. No, check out the Cajun Cowboys podcast. Forgotten America. They're gonna look up Cajun Cowboy. And go, there's no podcast. There probably is. But I know there's a
There might be.
I know there's a Cajun Libertarian podcast out there.
Okay.
He might have been your buddy.
Could have been.
Could have been. So check it out, you guys. If I don't talk to you before then, everyone have a great and safe 4th of July. And there's a good percentage of you. They're going to come back with one less finger.
Don't light them. Don't hold them with your shooting hand.
And if you get, and I'm going to make this reference, and we'll see if anyone gets it. I don't know if the Cajun Cowboy will understand it, but I sure hope Terry has charged the battery on his scooter this year.
No.
No, he doesn't get it. Okay, you guys have a good. I'll probably get back with you toward the end of the week. Back it up, Terry. Back.
You're killing Terry, man. What you
Back it up, Terry. Okay, we're done.